Teams have been eliminated, and we're getting closer and closer to the knockouts. England have played their second game, and we're about to break it down here on Beyond the Whistle. Hello, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Whistle with me and Grace. And Jesus Christ, it is hot. My God, Grace, how are you coping?
I'm not. I'm surviving. As many people know, I have spoken about it quite a lot. I work in the education system. I genuinely feel like I've been in the earth's core all day. It's been horrendous. How are you coping?
Yeah, mate, I'm the same. I'm just, yeah, I'm dying. It's makes me laugh because I think everyone was saying about the World Cup games being like obviously overheated and stuff, and how they're gonna have to have hydration breaks. I'm like, they're playing in stadiums that are cooler than the UK right now. You're talking about hydration breaks, but look, that's the world we're living. We're going to keep this one fairly quick today, just because of how hot we both are. We just want to get on, have our say and our thoughts on the England game, and then we'll wrap it up. But yeah, if you've not seen this before, make sure you hit like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you need to do on whatever platform you are watching on. We really do appreciate it. And don't forget that this podcast is now brought to you by GME Media. Uh, do you know what? I can't even be bothered to go into that today, so that's all you're getting. Grace, there's two questions I wanted to ask you today about just before we start off. They are Tottenham related, but I wanted an external view on it. And I know
Okay.
I've not prepped you on this, so I'm going to get a raw answer. But obviously, you've seen that Tottenham have been doing business in the markets already. We've seen four signings with Martin Dubravka officially signed last night as well. It's coming out that Lucas Bergval and Luka Vuskovic are wanting to leave the club because they're not getting game time or they don't see any game time coming. One's 19 and one's 20. Where the is this like audacity come from these youngsters to be demanding game time in the Premier League when the I mean Bergval he's maybe not unproven because he's been playing quite a bit, but he's probably played more because of injuries. If it wasn't for our injury crisis, he wouldn't have been anywhere near the pitch that often. Are they getting a bit above their station?
Um, Probably, but the one thing I would say is I imagine there's an agent in their ear because they're both at the World Cup, aren't they? I imagine there's an agent in their ear saying, let's shop window you because you're going to be showing your ability at the World Cup. That's the greatest shop window there is. So why not float it out there that you want to leave if you're not happy with the game time anyway? I mean, I think it's harsh. It's difficult, isn't it? Because Tottenham as a club, you would consider that as being like, hang on a minute, you're playing for one of the better teams in the Premier League. The issue is they've hit well below standards this season. So you feel as if players, I don't know, they might feel like they're a bit bigger than the club now, and they maybe expect because generally at clubs like West Ham, we do give more time to 19-year-olds. We do give more, because we have to. We have to give more opportunity to academy players because sometimes it's necessary. I don't know. I feel like yeah, it probably is a bit audacious, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I get what you're saying with the agents and stuff, but then to just to counteract the point that you made there about the like are they getting bigger than the club? We've just signed Van Heck and Senesi, and they're clearly better than Vuskovic because they've got the Premier League experience ready. So they're good to go. We don't know what he's like in the Premier League. So I think, and look, this might not be, it might not even be true what they're demanding because obviously the paper talks and the rumour mill and all that sort of stuff. So there might not be. But if they're demanding game time ahead of Premier League proven players, I just think that's way above your station. And if you want to be out the club, I'd be willing to let them go.
I think there's also an element of them seeing a lot of business being done. And I imagine there's a lot of insecurity as a player at Tottenham at the moment because they know that this squad has not just underperformed, well underperformed. And I wouldn't be surprised if the aim from a Tottenham perspective is not just in this window, because I think it's impossible, but over the next few windows to have a basically completely different squad to what it has been this season. So maybe it could be them trying to get in saying they want to leave before they're told there's no place for them. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do sort of see your point. I'm just thinking, like, with the rages and stuff like that, I just think you're so young, like, to be sort of demanding that sort of game time. I don't know if they're looking at Lamine Yamal and thinking, well, he's getting game time. I'm like, yeah, for a reason, because he's a
Mm-hmm.
different level. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to get an external opinion on that. I've heard a lot of different opinions from Tottenham fans, but I wanted to get someone who was neutral.
That is me.
Okay, we're going to jump into the World Cup. How was you? What was your thoughts on the West Ham fixtures? Happy?
I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest with you. It's real. It's scary because it's real. Um, I think we've got a bit of a naff beginning of the season and a bit of a naff end to the season because I think we got Burnley away as our first game or something, and I think we got Borough at home or something as our last game. Actually, I think there's one other one after that. But yeah, it feels like a bit of a baptism of fire, really. But honestly, I don't feel like I can really make that big of a judgment because I I've watched the championship, of course I have, but I feel like the championship is more unpredictable than the Premier League. You know, when you're looking at Premier League fixtures, you're looking at the big ones. You know who's going to be up there generally, and you know who's going to be fighting relegation. The Championship is a little bit more unpredictable. So for me, it doesn't matter who we're playing against. We have to be better than every other club in that league. It has to be as simple as that. It almost doesn't matter what order you play them in. Just win every week. I know that sounds really simple and simplistic, but and idealistic to be fair, but there is an element of it doesn't matter. We just got to get out of the league, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Should we jump into some World Cup chat?
Yeah, but I also have to ask you about the Spurs fixtures.
Well, you see, I'm sort of in the same like boat of you. Like, I like fixture release day just because you get to see who you're playing. But at the end of the day, you've got to play everybody anyway. So what does it matter what order you play them in? I don't really care. If you want to win the league, you got to beat them all eventually. So I'm not
Absolutely.
win the league. But yeah, it's just a bit of hype in it. It gets you ready for the Premier League. I think it's a fixture release day is maybe better when there's not a World Cup going on or a Euros going on because you've got that break from the Premier League, so you get excited and you start looking at the calendar thinking, oh, when's that fitting in? I noticed the Tottenham away to Hull is like around Christmas time, like 12th of
Mm.
December or something like that. So like that's a good one. I think Hull as well. They've got Liverpool at home on Boxing Day, so like that's a big fixture. So, but yeah, I have a look. But at the end of the day, you've got to play everybody. So I'm not. I don't really care what sort of order we're playing.
Yeah, and similar to you, I was pleased to see that's the one thing that I did look at because I think you do look at it from a championship perspective. You do get that Boxing Day fixture, and I'm pleased to see we're at home on Boxing Day. I think it's against Norwich. So that'll be one me and the family consider going to. It's those are the sort of things you look at, isn't it? When it was Premier League, I was probably looking when we were playing Tottenham because it's always an interesting game and first and last fixtures. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. You've got to play everybody, so the order isn't that big of a deal.
World Cup chat. So since we last spoke, obviously there's been a whole load of fixtures. To be fair, some groups are actually wrapped up now. But Scotland lost to Morocco 1-0. USA continued their impressive win with 2-0 over Australia. Any other notes at Spain? They're carried on their dominance with a 4-0 win over Saudi Arabia. France as well coming in with another 3-0. Argentina with another 2-0. Messi just ripping it up at the moment. Portugal obviously bounced back after their first result, winning 5-0. I wanted to talk about that. Did you see at the end of the game Ronaldo saying, "I'm back"?
I didn't see it, as in live. I didn't see it, but I think he has to be a bit careful. Was it
Well,
him that posted about scoring a hat trick in the first game and he blanked?
does that not tell you everything that's wrong with the Portugal side right now?
I think so. And we had this discussion, didn't we?
Yeah, the "I'm back," not "we're back." I'm back.
It's a team game, but look at me type mindset. And I get it because you have to have a level of cocky to be the player that Ronaldo is. But I don't know. Messi just seems to be doing his business nice and quietly. Just he is obviously the main event for Argentina. Of course he is. But I don't know. The pressure just seems not so much on him. It doesn't, and maybe it could be because he's won the previous World Cup, so he's sort of got that in his back pocket. Now, there's loads of different reasons why, but I'm a Messi over Ronaldo girl personally. So I feel like I'm a bit biased when it comes to talking about Ronaldo because I do feel like that is, like we said in the last podcast, that is potentially where Portugal go wrong, is that all eyes on Ronaldo thing.
Yeah, 100%. Norway 3, Senegal 2 as well. Haaland doing Haaland things once again. Before we jump into England, should we talk about some group stages that have already wrapped up?
Yeah, can do. Can I just add though, like I absolutely adore everything Norway are doing in this World Cup. They are the people's champion. I absolutely adore them. The Viking shots, then when they won the other night, they did the rowing thing. I just love them. I haven't been able to catch any of their games yet, but I think they play France at time of recording tomorrow night, and I cannot wait for that game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're smashing it, and they look good as well. I mean, as long as Haaland keeps knocking them in. Um, but yes, the groups. Group A is already finished with Mexico topping it, with taking 9 points. I didn't have that, you know.
Oh, who did you have?
Uh, I'm, I don't know. I have to go back through my predictions, what I wrote down, but I don't think I had Mexico taking all 9 points. That definitely surprised me. South Africa finishing in second and South Korea in third. Uh, Czech Republic finishing on. That was a bit of a shock as well, to be fair, finishing fourth on 1 point. A bit of a disappointment from them. Group B's finished with Switzerland, Canada, Bosnia, and Qatar. Bosnia, I like Bosnia. Like I told you before, I got to see them qualify against Wales. Well, they beat Wales to go on to beat some Italy, I think it was, to qualify
Yeah.
for the World Cup. And even then, they look good defensively. Group C is finished with Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. Scotland are looking like it's might be the end of the road for them, Grace.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that. I think I've been disappointed in them, to be honest with you. I have felt quite disappointed. I think I fancied them to cause an upset to a few opponents, and they just, a lot of the issues that they had last night were their own fault, dare I say it. I think Vinny Jr. pounced on their mistakes essentially, and they were lucky to not be 2-0 down after sort of 20 minutes. I feel like I expected a bit more, rightly or wrongly. Scotland fans would turn around and go, "No, this is exactly how we thought it was going to be." But I think I fancied them to cause at least one upset.
I got to watch the Scotland Morocco game. Uh, I was down in Cardiff with GME Media reviewing a show, which you can check that out on TikTok as well on their page. But yeah, I got to watch the game, and I was a bit disappointed with how sort of Scotland went for that game. I thought you've got 3 points in the bag already from beating Haiti. Just go and attack them.
Yeah.
Go and attack them and just let loose. And if you win, absolute, you're on top of the world. You're 100% gonna qualify to the knockouts. It wasn't to be. I think it was an unbelievable strike as well. Do you remember it?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable strike for the goal, and I think it was just a bit of a it was quite early on in the game, so maybe a lack of concentration early on. But yeah, it's a shame for Scotland, really. I think I did see somebody say maybe Scotland should focus more on what they're doing rather than England, hoping that England lose. And I was like, it's a fair comment. I mean, I don't think the players are worried about it, but the Scots seem to be more bothered about England than themselves. But yeah, like you said, I think they was aware of what was going to happen in this World Cup. But I'd like to see them go further. And I think, yeah, that's it for group stages. USA obviously play later on.
Mm.
Which, do you know what? Actually, I'm quite impressed with USA as well. I got to see the tail end of that game as well before the Scotland one kicked in. And Poch is doing some good stuff with them.
Well, this is the thing, and it's actually something I wanted to talk to you because obviously, from an outsider point of view, I could really see that Poch identity in that US side, and you will know better than anybody that Poch identity as a Spurs fan. It's shining through, isn't it?
Yeah, I love him. I love him. I think he probably. Oh, I don't know, because I love him and I love Ange. Them two are my absolute favourite managers, and I would run through a brick wall for Ange Postecoglou. And I love seeing him as a pundit as well because the insight that he gives is just quality. But yeah, Poch is up there as well. He gets the youngsters just sort of running. You know what I mean?
Mm.
He's working from and working as a team and working. You see the what's the word? Harmony, is that the right word? Or community within the team, maybe? I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it's similar to what we saw at Tottenham, and I think USA are absolutely bouncing because I didn't expect them to be top in the group.
No, and I think they're in a fabulous position because I feel, and we'll get onto this in terms of the England game, different teams walk into a World Cup with different expectations. And often that really dictates the way they go about the game. And I feel the US are in a really great position because lots of teams will come at them. So as long as they say defensively strong, if they've got that attacking threat, it doesn't even have to be on the counter. It can be a formation that provides defensive structure, but not overwhelming defensive structure like we saw, for example, with Ghana the other night. I'm not talking a low block. I'm talking a fairly progressive formation, and then them having that attacking threat and the confidence. It's actually a really great place to be in. Look, do I think they'll get to the latter stages of the competition? No, I don't, because I think some of the quality that is shining at the moment is insane. But do you know what? If at a home tournament, if they can get themselves, to a finish that they're pleased with, then great.
Yeah, 100%. Should we jump into England?
Yeah, absolutely. I could talk for hours about this England game.
Let's go for it because I'd seen your video, your early morning World Cup show, which you can find on Grace's TikTok, Grace Wild Football. You can go check that out. It's incredible. I love that content over there. But I know you've got a lot to say about it. Should we start with? Do you want to run us through the lineup, and then we'll go into our thoughts on the game?
Yes, so there was some changes. I don't know about you, but I can't say I was expecting changes. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, it's a tough one, really. I kind of expected him to go with the same starting 11, considering how well they played in the first game. But look, we have a squad for a reason. There's rotation there, so why not? But I think maybe with that 4-2 win, he was hoping not to sweep Ghana away, but get some minutes into some legs of other players.
Yeah, I probably agree. I but to be honest with you, I think I can't provide any sort of reason for it because as we'll go on to later, I can't really provide any sort of reason for his substitutions in many ways. So he started with Pickford in goal, Reece James on the right again, Conser. The change was Stones for Gay, and then Spence came in for O'Reilly, Anderson and Rice in the middle, Madueke on the right, Bellingham in the centre, Gordon on the left, and then Kane up the top. Um, Two defensive changes. Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, I've heard a lot of people say about Saka and Rashford. So the word from the camp is that both of them are carrying little niggles from injuries that they've had. So that's why they're not starting. They're not capable of playing a full 90 minutes, or they're going to struggle to play a 60, 70, 80-minute game. So that's why they're coming on for little cameos at the end, but with the intention that by the time we get to the last 32, hopefully we get to the last 32, they'll be fully fit and ready to go.
And I think that's a good thing, to be honest with you, because I mean, I'm a fan of Gordon. I think he showed his quality, like I said last week, he showed his quality in the friendlies leading up to this World Cup, but he has gone missing in the last two games. And then Rashford comes on and just provides something different. We were waxing lyrical about him last week. This is the thing, is it's fairly similar what we're going to say, isn't it? Because our opinions on players isn't necessarily going to change. I think this game needed someone like Rashford. And God, you could go into so much. Where should I even start with this? Where should I start?
Well, I'll tell you what, right? I want to start with first off by just praising Ghana because they had a game plan. They knew what they were doing going into the game, and they stuck to it. And when you've got players in Ghana like Semenyo, who you know, and Jordan Ayew, who know where the net is, and Thomas Partey is a solid player as well, that can have egos on them of I want to get out there, I want to attack, I want to score, and all of them was like, no, I'm going to take that step back. We're going to play as a team. We're going to sit behind the ball. We're going to play that low block. They had a game plan. They stuck to it, and absolutely fair play to Ghana. And to be
Yeah, it
honest,
worked.
I think they probably should have won this game. I think England got away.
100%, 100%. There's a few decisions that I wasn't pleased with the ref at all. I thought the ref was horrendous, really, in comparison to that first game where I thought it was actually refereed really well. I thought this one was really poor. And I mean that from both sides. But you're absolutely right to give Ghana credit. I think they, like you said, they came with the game plan, they executed it, and it got the reward that they deserved. I mean, they just dealt with everything that England had to offer. Now you could argue that England didn't have that much to offer. Um, but they dealt with it. You can only play what's in front of you. They dealt with what came to them.
Yeah, no, 100%. Talk us through the game and what notes you got from it.
I don't really have too many notes, if I'm honest with you, right? I feel like I've got a general view of this game. Um, I I felt like 60 minutes in, we needed something different. And I think Saka was the answer to that. And I was pleased to see Saka be introduced to the game. Um, but I was a tad confused because I thought it would be a straight swap for Rashford as well. I thought Rashford would come on for Gordon and I thought Saka would come on for Madueke. Now, I understand the logic because what Tuchel was trying to do was he was trying to put a left-footed winger on the left. That's what he was attempting to do. And I get it because he wanted the swing of the crosses, didn't he?
Yeah.
Rather than the cut inside and the shot or the cross to the back post. I get that. I'm just not sure Madueke could provide that as well. I think he played better than he did weirdly on the right side when he moved over to the left. I just personally would have preferred to have simplified it a little bit. And I think my argument, I'm going to go all over the place with this, but my argument with the Madueke thing is I think Madueke and Saka are very similar players. They offer you very similar things. I think Saka does it better. I think that game needed a winger on that right hand side that was completely different. And that's where Jared Bowen came into the conversation for me because he's different. He offers a different challenge to those defenders, particularly 65 minutes in when they have been, stubborn with their defence, when they've been dogged with their defence. Bring in a completely different equation. Don't bring in a player that is very, very similar in the way in which he plays because it's just one of the same thing. And, that's my argument for the Bowen situation. That's why I wanted Bowen there rather than Madueke.
This was a point that I wanted to bring up. You see, so a performance like that. Look, at the end of the day, we're going to do what we'll do is we'll do the positives and we'll do the negatives and we'll touch on some key aspects during the game. Like we've got a big talking point on Pickford as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll do that. But I want to make a point of saying this because a point is a point. And at the World Cup against Ghana, when you're playing a low block, they're going to be incredibly difficult to break down. You haven't got someone who can pick that lock. This type of performance, this is now where everybody will be. This is why you should have taken Trent. This is why you should have taken a Jared Bowen. This is why you should have taken a Gibbs White, a Cole Palmer. You've now a performance like this now opens up that conversation and it creates noise around the England camp, which we don't need. And we know what the English media is like, and we know how scrutinised the England camp is in general. But this sort of performance creates them questions, and it's something that Tuchel doesn't need over his head. Not mid tournament. Yes, we can all sit here and say, I think, well, to be fair, we did. We sat here and said this team selection is mental. I can't believe he's left this player out, that player out. He's obviously got a reason for doing it. And to be honest with you, I thought his reason was because he was going to have the same starting 11 in each game. That's been proven not to be the case now. So again, it opens up all them questions, and that's one of the main negatives about this performance for me.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think there is so much scrutiny around that England squad as it was, and I don't know about you, but I was not shocked by this performance at all. This was the type of England I was expecting based on that. It's one of those where I put my football knowledge on the line here by saying, this is my opinion about that squad. This is how they will perform in the tournament. I was pleasantly surprised against Croatia, but it made sense because Croatia were going to come at us. They were going to leave those gaps, and it's something we could exploit. Ghana were never going to do that. They were never going to. And this is where we could potentially be caught out in the early stages of the knockout rounds. Is teams are going to, like I said on my social media last night, I did a post on TikTok saying, when you are one of the best European sides or considered one of the best European sides, teams are going to sit back. You have to unlock them. And it really frustrated me. I don't know about you, but I felt a bit bad for Tuchel, to be honest, because I felt like he was roaring. I felt like he was really getting frustrated with those players not doing what he wanted them to do. Because there was moments, wasn't there? There was little moments of, instead of going down the wing and putting a ball into the box and it being headed away because Ghana are a big side. Why not go down that centre? There was a couple of moments where there was a couple of triangles in the centre, nice little passes and things like that. They were just opening them up. And it only happened once, twice, maximum three times. But that was the key there to that game. That was the key. We have the ability. For some reason, we just did not show it. And I can't give you a reason why. And I almost feel bad blaming Tuchel for that. Most people will because they won't look into it as deep as we do. I almost feel bad for blaming Tuchel for that because I think he was trying to get them to do other things.
Well, that was a positive I wanted to bring up. Is again, we sort of said this last week in terms of the. I don't want to spend this whole tournament comparing the two, but this is something again that you wouldn't have seen from Southgate. The shouting on the touchline,
Mm.
the aggression. We've seen it in training, I think, which again is mental because I think leading up to the game, we'd seen a few videos of him shouting at Jed Spence, telling him to switch on and be more aware, and then he starts him. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so you can tell that there's something not quite right in the training, but you still started him, which is a worrying sign. But the positive is that he's out there, he's aggressive, he's not happy with what he's seeing, and he's trying to change it. Similar with taking off Jude Bellingham. Now, I think Jude Bellingham getting man of the match for me was mental, but oh sorry, superior player of the match according to the Americans. But the yeah, taking Jude Bellingham off and replacing him with Morgan Rogers is something that I don't think we would have seen under Southgate. I think he would have been happy with the 0-0. Whereas I think at least Tuchel was trying to attack and trying to get that goal, and it nearly did come off towards the end with that Harry Kane. He just snatched it, which we'll get onto. But yeah, that was a positive for me.
I think I don't know about you, but I didn't feel Bellingham deserved to come off at that point. I liked the sub on. I don't didn't necessarily I know it was needed, if you know what I mean, in terms of tactics to put Rodgers on. It made the most sense to take Bellingham off. But there was something about Bellingham. I'm not gonna lie, I am one of Bellingham's critics. I am. I think he's been fantastic this tournament so far. I think some of his
Yeah,
defensive contributions. Oh no, I didn't get that vibe at all. But I just want to point out that I think some of his defensive contributions have been brilliant. I think he has stepped up in this tournament so far. Obviously, that could all go to pot, as the tournament goes on. But so far, I've been really impressed with him, and I was impressed with him on Tuesday. To be honest, I liked what he was bringing. All of those dinky movements in the box going down the centre generally involved him, and I I don't know. It's so difficult, isn't it? Because you're not in Tuchel's head. You don't know was that pre-planned? Was it one of those where he was going to put Rodgers on whatever the score like? Do you know what I mean? There's so much that we don't know as fans that you only know in that camp, what is the structure? What is the tactics? What's a guarantee? What's a based on the game? It's so difficult. And I just feel Bellingham didn't necessarily deserve to come off.
no, you've got an argument, and like I think Bellingham needed to turn up in this tournament from all the sort of drama and the rumours and the talks around him before coming. He got dropped, didn't he, for the call up on the friendlies, which I said to you, I don't agree with if you're actually going to drop him for the tournament. I said that at the time. I said if you're going to take him to the tournament, doing all this is completely pointless anyway because he's not there. It's friendlies, but it's good that he's gone there and he's got his head on and he's because when he clicks, England will click, but he has to be in the mood to want to click. Bellingham, he's not that type of player where he'll just go out there and do it. He needs to be in the mood for it.
Yeah, absolutely. He is. I think we said it last week, didn't we? Or I think at least I said it. He is the type of player that when you get him right, my God, does he shine. When you get him wrong, he can be a bit of a passenger. And I think so far we've done well, particularly in that second half against Croatia. Just a slight tactical shift, and he works perfectly. And we got, Jude Bellingham the potential of being a world class player. I'm not saying he's a world class player now. I have seen people say that. I am not saying that right now at all.
Well, that's the thing is he made that tactical change against Croatia and it paid off. He made the tactical change here and it just didn't work. And that's why at least if you don't, what's the saying? If you can't win a game, don't lose it. Which we nearly did. We very nearly
Mm.
did, but and we probably should have done. But yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't. Am I happy with a 0-0? No, but it's still a point, and we've got to take it game by game, get out the groups, and then focus on because knockouts are completely different beasts to group stage anyway. So yeah, I think he'll be back on the training pitch, and he'll be He'll have an idea in his head of what he wants. Hopefully, Rashford and Saka will be up to speed by then. And
Yeah.
we'll have, I agree with you. I think Rashford looks, I'm not going to say incredible because we're not seeing that much of him, but he's looking good. He's looking sharp. And that finish against the Croatia, that goes to show what he can do when he's on the pitch. But yeah, again, what sort of positives and negatives you got from the game?
Dare I say it, and I don't want to be miss pessimistic, but I have more negatives than I do
Yeah,
positives, to be
that's
honest.
that's fair because we expected England to win this, didn't we? Not maybe
Yeah,
not comfortably. I'd expected maybe a 1-2-0 or something like that. But again, credit to Ghana. They just had the game plan. They stuck to it. They played well. They defended like their lives are on it.
but I, being devil's advocate, and 100% I'm giving credit to Ghana, like we said earlier, but being devil's advocate, I think in a sense, based on the talent we have, we made it somewhat easier for Ghana. We made it more straightforward for that game plan to work. Sometimes you have to do extraordinary things to break that down, that structure down. I mean, they were just formidable, weren't they? In that structure, in that discipline, you have to do brilliant things, and there was peaks of it. That's the thing for me. That's one positive I can take from the game is I did see it. I didn't see it often enough, but I did see it. It's there. That ability is there. I think we've seen it a lot from the likes of France are just with Mbappe and Elise and Doué and Dembele. They are just gorgeous footballers. I saw a bit of that. I just didn't see enough of it, and I think it might not be such a problem because we might not play a team from now until the end of the tournament that are going to sit in a low block against us. But it is still something that I fear from a okay, why have we tactically not done that? That's been an issue for a long time. How have we not cracked that yet with the talent we've got? How have we not cracked it? And I just think it could be that Tuchel has and the players didn't deliver on what he wanted. You don't know. But I feel like I'm trying to find positives really. I think Tuchel so far has done well for himself. Like you say on the touchline, really being aggressive, trying to get people's attention, change the game. Really being involved in it. I like to see that. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, can I just say as well on Tuchel, I don't think we mentioned it last week, but he handled the criticism of not singing the national anthem really, really well, I thought as well. And look, I've got no problem with him not singing the national anthem at all. He's German. Why would he want to sing it? You know what I mean? If I was the coach of the German team, I wouldn't be singing the German national anthem. I don't understand where this comes from, and I don't like this to me is if you're complaining about that you can't be a football fan, surely. You have to be a casual viewer. I just don't see why you would let this affect you. But go on.
It's it's giving suits at the FA Cup final. It's giving that level, isn't it?
Yeah, we spoke about that, didn't we? We spoke about, and I said at the time, why do you give a shit? As long as your team goes out there and win, it doesn't matter. But yeah, good callback actually. But I think he handled it very well by saying, like, emphasising. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call there. Yeah, emphasising the fact that he couldn't even see the players sing because of all the media attention that was going on and all the cameras and stuff. And he was saying, "I want to see my players. I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of the lads, and I want to see it. I want." I thought he absolutely smashed it out of the park the way he handled that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. I actually think he's done himself a lot of justice so far in this tournament from an individual point of view. His tactics are one thing, but from an individual point of view, I think he's done pretty well. And I can't really ask more on the touchline from a manager. Um, yeah, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because you can unpick every little thing, and I know you want to go on and talk about Pickford.
Yeah, but no, go on. You lead the way. You talk me through this. What was your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm intrigued by this because my view, and I've said this, my household, it's everybody sat in front of the TV when England are on, and everybody shut the hell up because we're all watching.
I
Um,
sorry, can I just say I love that, by the way. I think
what
that's
that we all sit there.
yeah, the fact that you all sit together as a family, even your West Ham games and stuff, and you say about your neighbour and the fact that you text each other. I love that. That's incredible. But I come from a household where it's not football orientated really. So it's even like my dad watches football. He pretends he knows what he's talking about. But yeah, I love the fact that you all sit down and watch it together. I think that's great.
Full blown event. Like if there's a 2 a.m. kickoff, we'll all be there. All be
Yeah.
there. It's I couldn't wish for any more. Anyway, so we're all sat there and I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say?
About Pickford.
Yeah, but why was I talking about us all sat there?
You tell me.
That's it. I said, right, in my head, right. I said to my dad at that, like watching Pickford's display, this was the vibe I got. He didn't trust his back line.
Yeah, so I've seen this, and I do agree with you. I think there's a question there to be had. Does he have full trust in them? I also just think that Pickford has just got a lot of built up nervous energy, and he wants to. He's like a Duracell bunny. Do you know what I mean? He wants to be on it all the time, and he wants to just be moving and going, and he's got so much energy that he makes the odd rash decision. I think for England, I can't fault him. He's been incredible. Like
Mm.
for Everton, it's hard because I think Everton probably they take on more shots than what an England team would because of the levels of performances. But yeah, I think there's an argument to say he's also just got that built up energy and he doesn't quite know what to do with himself sometimes.
And that's I totally agree. I felt he didn't have trust in his back line, but I didn't really understand why he didn't have trust in his back line because
Yeah,
I thought individually they did really well. I love Gay. I'm a massive, massive fan of Gay. I don't know. I just feel like he was more confident with Stones in front of him. I can't get that out of my head. But I do think you're absolutely spot on that he does just have a lot of nervous energy. And his decision making at times really was not good against Ghana. And that hurts me to say that because I'm a big, big fan of Pickford as England goalkeeper.
hey, that's what I'm saying though. You're not. It's not something that we see often from Pickford because he usually is quite good with his decision making. He knows when to come for the ball. He knows when to stay. Yeah, maybe that is the case. He's not quite comfortable with him. But like you said, I don't see why not because the solid players and they're good. This is England. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's tricky. But talk to me about the penalty claim.
Well, I haven't actually seen this back, which is bad. But I'll be honest with you. Again, mentioning the fact I've worked in education this week, I'm exhausted. Like I have done nothing but work and work on social media. So I have not actually seen this back. However, I think they've got a case.
Yeah, one hundred
I
percent.
think they've got a case. I do. I'm not going to sit here as an England fan and say no, not a chance, because I think if it was the other way round, we'd all be banging on about a penalty.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I don't think there's much else to say on it. I, I think England have absolutely got away with one, and like this is kind of worrying signs as well because the ball in behind the defence as well, which is you should never have got to that place in the first. You should never have got there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mhm.
I'm not because it did get there, so you can't put it down to that. But yeah, 100% they've got a case. I think England got away with it.
Yes, I totally agree. And we're not going to be that lucky at some point.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then towards the closing stages, I think England did look better in the last sort of 10 minutes of the game, which was like you said, there was signs of stuff that were there. This became to Rose Ed because my body. Sorry, did you lose me then?
Oh, you broke up for me.
Sorry, where did you get
Yeah,
to?
I lost you. Kane whacking it into his head.
Yes, that's sorry. That's what I was saying. I wanted your opinion on that because when it came off the bar for Nico O'Reilly, the one person you wanted to fall to is Harry Kane.
100%. But look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not maybe right. I think if you want anybody on the end of that, you want it to be Kane. And it just didn't feel like his night. I felt the Ghanaians did brilliantly keeping him quiet. I think that idea of Madueke on the left doing, sort of swinging it over the defenders made sense. Like it could have worked. Um, but I don't know. It just didn't. Like you said, I think the last 10 minutes with Rashford and Saka on the pitch, I thought we looked dangerous. I thought we looked really dangerous, and I wanted another 5 minutes. I wanted another 10 minutes, and I was pleased to see that at the end of the game because I thought the rest of the game was fairly boring, to be honest with you. Um, I was glad at the end that I wanted more. I didn't want that final whistle to be blown. Um, but I don't know. Honestly, it's that witch doctor. It's that curse. I'm telling you.
Do you believe in this whole Harry Maguire would have buried that header?
I've seen that so many times. Um, I mean, yeah, he might have done, but
Yeah, but he also
would he
might
have
not.
been in
So,
that position?
it might. He
Like,
also.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't.
I
I
don't
get,
get that argument.
again, this is where this performance opens the door to them conversations, and you don't need this noise around it. It's what we said at the start of this conversation is, yeah, oh, this is why we should have taken Maguire. He could equally have just put it over the bar. You'd like, it's too hard to say. I don't think O'Reilly did much wrong. He just hit the post. It was a good header. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely. I think in another day, slight changes. It was really marginal, wasn't it? I think O'Reilly's probably going to get himself a World Cup goal, to be honest with you, because he is putting himself in those positions. And do you know what? That miss happening in the group stages, I'm happy. I'd prefer that to be there than in the knockout stages.
yeah, this isn't Harry Kane blasting it over the bar from the penalty spot against France, is it? This is,
No,
and don't get me wrong. Yes, he should be burying that, and you would imagine Kane. You'd bet your house on him to be finishing that, wouldn't you? If you'd seen a
yeah,
still image before that, I think. I mean, I'm not making excuses for him. It's on his left, and he just snatches at it.
yeah,
Literally, just I think he had more time than he didn't have. Sorry, I think he didn't realize how much sort of time he actually had. The keeper was nowhere near it because he was reacting from the crossbar. The defender was down on the floor. He just snatched it. I mean,
yeah.
it's just, it happens.
He was human.
Yeah, it was human. Yeah, and I've seen these people say, "Oh, Ronaldo, Haaland, Messi, Mbappe, none of these would have missed it." And I'm like, they could easily just have missed it. You're talking about how many golden boots has Harry Kane won? He's one of the best strikers on the planet at the minute.
Like literally shut up. Like genuinely come to me with that argument, I will tell you to shut up. That man is world class. And it is only people that watch football and don't just look at trophies people have won and teams that they play for that realise how flipping good that boy is. Like I say boy, he's older than me. That man is. He is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I will certainly not hold that miss in my head going into Panama on Saturday. I mean, to be fair, sometimes in the World Cup, the third game is a bit of a, oh, let's just play, the B team. At least we've got something to play for now.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're going to wrap this up any minute anyway. Have you got any last sort of comments you want to make on that game before I ask you the next question?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
Yeah. What do you want to see from the Panama game then? Do you want to see a rotation? Do you want to see the same starting 11? What do you want to see?
I'm a big believer in consistency. I'm somebody that I want to see confidence going into the knockout stages. So I want us to take that seriously. I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because there's conversations about Rice potentially with a knock. Could we do an alteration that means he plays, 45 minutes, or could we do an alteration where he doesn't play at all? I'm not sure. That's something they've got to decide. But I'm happy from the perspective of he's going to be vital in the latter stages of the tournament, like what they've done with Rashford and Saka potentially with Niggles. They sort of those niggly injuries, they're hard, aren't they? They're hard to deal with, but they can play. Let's just give them the time to recover. I understand that thought process. So if he makes changes that revolve around that, I'm happy. I don't want masses of changes though. I want to go into the knockout stages with some sort of confidence because I think if you don't walk into those knockout stages with confidence, you're kaput. You're not gonna do anything because you need to believe in your own ability. So I do want to see a strong performance. I think Panama could sit back, so we're going to be breaking down that low block again, aren't we? And we have to be prepared for that. And I really, really hope that they do something about that and they actually play those little dinky passes. I mean, I guess Panama probably won't be as disciplined, won't be as big as Ghana were, so we might get away with it. But I hope we learn something from that game. I really do. I hope we learn from it and go, okay, we can't break down a low block. Let's address that issue because Panama will do a similar thing. Maybe not as well, but they will do a similar thing. And they could have a Cape Verde performance where they absolutely nail it. You never know. So you need to be able to break it down. Just no risks, but also some level of consistency from me.
Yeah, 100%. Two final questions for you. Have you got a man of the match for the game? I know it's kind of hard to pick out, really.
Honestly, I don't. I don't think I do.
No.
And that's unlike me.
Yeah, well, I wrote one down because I knew I was going to ask you this question, but I went for Elliot Anderson because I just think he was again consistency. Again, I think he was not unbelievable, but he was a shining light in that team. I think against Ghana, he stood out for me anyway. So I went with Elliot Anderson. Score prediction for England Panama.
I am going to go for 2-0 to England.
I'm going to go for 4-0.
Ooh, confident.
Go for a big 4-0, make a statement. But yeah, that is the end of the podcast. Get your comments in. Get your comments in the comments below. I always say that. I don't know why. Get your comments in the.
In the comment section down below.
That's the one. I knew I was close, but yeah, get your comments in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you need to do on whatever platform you are watching on, and we will see you after the next England game. Grace, thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you later.
See you later.